Good morning, everybody. This is Mandy from Chapel Forge. So it's a steamy, warm, moist morning here in Pennsylvania. Looks like we're gonna have another little stretch of super hot, and then we might have some reprieve in the 80s. So I'm on the back deck today. A little different than my typical video. Not really, well, I am hoping to teach you something, but not teaching you anything in the kitchen today. So today I was gonna talk about how we shop, where we shop. I keep getting questions about a pantry tour, which I'm going to do a pantry tour, but I think I'm going to wait until the end of canning season because it's a mess down there. So we store our food in the basement for the most part. Obviously, our working pantry is in our kitchen, and then we have our backup stuff in the basement. So last maybe winter, we sort of moved some things around and dedicated almost an entire room just to either growing food on, I have a little seed starting corner, or I could probably grow some lettuces and things. I have seed mats and grow lights and all of that. And then kind of on our basement, our one side of our basement's a little bit split kind of by the furnace. So we have the freeze dryer and barrels and whatever. So when we do a pantry tour, I'll kind of show you what all that looks like. But so where does all that food come from? Obviously, first we have a garden. I mean, no secret. So we have a garden. It's 2,000 square feet. I admittedly need to use that space better. I thought I was, at the beginning of every garden season, you think you're oh, this is the most perfect plan ever. And then you get to July and you're maybe this wasn't so perfect and this is what I need to change. So, already have in mind what I need to change for next year. We also have a small greenhouse. It's maybe 10 by 15. I'm not totally sure about it. 10 by 12, 10 by 15. It's not that big, but I'm hoping to get my ducks in a row and start growing some lettuces and things like that in there that I can grow into. I mean, I guess we'll see how far I can grow. It did come with a heater, so I could heat it. I'm not sure how economical that's going to be. We'll have to just kind of play around with it. And so I'm hoping to grow some things in there, extend our growing season, get a little bit of food out of that. But from April to October-ish, we do harvest some food out of the garden. So I do a spring garden, a summer garden, and a fall garden. So, doubling up on in spring and fall on things like root vegetables, lettuces, kale, chard, stuff like that. And then in the summer, all the normal things: peppers, squashes, tomatoes, zucchini, all of that kind of thing. So in the spring, summer, fall, we have that as kind of a supplement to our food supply. And then outside of that, I have 5-ish, 6-ish places that we go on a regular basis. Now, we don't go to the store every week or twice a week or any of that kind of thing. Sometimes we don't, and when I say go to the store, I mean go to Giant or, whatever your run-of-the-mill grocery store is you have near you, Food Lion or whatever. Never fails that you have to sneeze or cough or do something when you're in the middle of recording a video. So, places like that. We don't go to those places very regularly. So we live about 15 minutes from our closest grocery store. There is a little store off of the restaurant that's up at the top of the hill. And there's a little store they call Granny's. It's a little Amish store. And it's maybe 10 minutes. And those places are okay. I mean, Granny's has some bulk goods and things like that. And then the little store off the restaurant is a convenience store. I mean, you only go there out of desperation, I feel like. Or maybe to grab milk or something, but we get milk from the local dairy. So, our closest Giant is 15 minutes away. Our closest Walmart is 25-ish. Target, you're talking a half an hour. We love Wegmans, but it's also a half an hour each way. And when diesel fuel is, $6 a gallon, we're not driving all the way out there once a week. So we are huge. Well, I say we. My husband goes along with it. I am always about combining trips. I mean, definitely, like, every Monday, for instance, we go to the chiropractor, and a lot of my favorite stores are near the chiropractor. So obviously we're going to do all those stores when we're at the chiropractor. We don't hit those stores every week. I mean, we might hit those stores like once every other month or even once a quarter. Like, we just don't do all that very often because our time is also valuable. So while I love just strolling like an Amish store and seeing what I can find, there's always a million things that need done here on the homestead, so I don't have time for that. Okay, so first place that we get food, I would say is really a staple for us, is Sam's Club. And I say that with a little bit of hesitation in that they don't have like a great organic selection or anything like that. We don't typically, I know I'm going to have people come at me about this. We don't typically buy organic, frankly, because we're friends with a lot of truck drivers that are like, you know, the stuff they're pulling out of the organic field came from the same place they're pulling from the not organic field, and they're all getting loaded on my truck and mixed up, and maybe that's a conspiracy theory. I don't know. Nonetheless, we don't typically spend extra money on organic stuff. I guess I feel like I'm more concerned about looking at things like sugar content, what's actually in it. You know, if I buy Hunt's number 10 can of tomato sauce, for instance, and it just says tomatoes and salt, you know, I mean, I'm at peace with that. I can give the rest to Jesus, I feel like. You know, but if I'm buying like pasta sauce made by, I don't know, pick someone, you know, and it's got a list this big of 50 ingredients when pasta sauce should really have like 4, you know, maybe tomato, salt, spices, and garlic, you know, that concerns me more than an organic tomato. And again, we're always at the mercy of these labels. Like, okay, that's what it says is in it, but what else was in it? What was it sprayed with? I mean, who knows? Just because it says organic, we weren't at that farm. We don't know that it actually did that. And yes, there's probably just some level of trust, I guess, which maybe I just don't have that level of trust because we try to grow a good bit of our food. I should also mention that we do raise some of our own meat. Obviously, we're growing our own eggs. We grow turkeys. You might be able to hear them in the background. So every year we started with 18. If you saw my predator video, we're now down to 14. But 14 will give us a good bit of meat. So we grow our own turkeys. We get pigs from a friend who raises pigs. We're hoping to grow our own pigs this winter. We'll see. We have grown chicken in the past. Again, if you saw my predator video, we tried to grow chicken and coyote, raccoon, I don't know, something took them all out. So we don't have those. But we will hopefully do that in the future, hoping to get into like some heritage chickens and things like that. We have a milk source. We have a milk goat. So she's a small goat. She has 2 babies. I primarily use her milk for soap and maybe yogurt or things like that, some soft cheeses. But our milk we get, like I said, from the dairy. So we do grow some meat here on our homestead. We grow some of our vegetables, you know, herbs. We try to grow some herbs and things like that. So always trying to do better as far as that goes. Also trying to talk my husband into a dairy cow. So looking at like Belfairs or Dexters. If you have any opinions about those two, let me know. So, Sam's Club. We love Sam's Club. We have a Plus membership. We pay $100 a year for the Plus membership. I think the normal membership is like $50 or $55. We used to do that, and then we would drive out to Sam's, which is about an hour from here. We would drive out there once a quarter, and we would stock up on whatever we needed. Now, this was prior to the heart attack, so we were buying a bunch of, I don't think we've been to Sam's Club since the heart attack. The heart attack was in December. I don't think. I lie. We were there once. So we would get, you know, crap. I mean, seriously, we would buy like crap to supplement all these great yummy things that I had just canned. I'm not like, I guess until something really bad happens or really life-threatening, like especially if you're in a mindset of unhealthy eating, it takes something like a heart attack, I guess, for it to click, which makes me so sad in hindsight. But if you're there and you want to talk more about that, let me know. Not talk about like, oh, you need to do this, but just how like much PTSD you can have from something like your husband having a heart attack. Anyway, so Sam's Club, do the Plus membership. They ship for free to your house. Now, obviously, this doesn't include things like cheese or cold things or whatever, but they ship things like dehydrated hash browns and cans of tomato sauce and cans of green beans, Trying to think what else we get. Mustard, granola bars. So I have scrutinized, I think, every granola bar label on the planet at this point. We love Kind bars. They are pretty clean. The sugar, they're not all low in sugar, but a good bit of them are pretty low in sugar. I get Liquid IV from them. Again, I know Liquid IV is not perfect, but it gives us a good electrolyte boost. I can keep them in the car, you know. Love having those on hand. Obviously, we get TP and PT, toilet paper and paper towels, from there. Dawn, they have these whole grain tortillas that, again, they're not perfect, but they're way better than the ones that have like the gym mat, you know, in them. Whatever ingredients in gym mat is also in some tortillas, which is so gross. They have some dried fruit, prunes, cherries, things that I maybe necessarily, like we have a dehydrator, of course, and I dehydrate a lot of things, and dry a lot of things, but we don't have access to cherries like very affordably. I mean, we do. There's an orchard down the road and we can go pick cherries and whatever, but we don't use cherries in a ton of things. Dad really likes cherries. Bud's pretty okay with cherries. I'm meh. You know, I'll eat dried cherries. I don't love fresh cherries. So anyway, you can get things like that there. Rice, canned olives. They have this really great quinoa pasta that we love. You can buy it in like a 5-pound bag, I think. It's not cheap, but it's cutting down the amount of flour, and we're not like gluten-free or anything, but after the heart attack, I was definitely trying to cut out things like white pasta and white sugar and things like that. So we found this quinoa pasta. We really like it. You have to cook it a little bit longer than like traditional white pasta, but it's good. It gets us some extra protein. We love it. So Sam's Club, I love for things like that. They literally bring it to my doorstep, aka they sit it at the barn at the driveway, but hey, it's better than driving an hour away. So love Sam's Club for those sort of staple items that we try to keep on the shelf. I do buy some canned things from them just because I don't think it's a bad idea to have, you know, a diversification in your food stores. So I do buy things like canned green beans, canned corn, canned mushrooms. Can I can all those things myself? Yes. Do I can all those things myself? Yes. Well, we don't can corn, we freeze corn. But, you know, we like whole kernel corn in a can for certain things. Like we kind of prefer that in like a burrito than our sweet corn that we got from the farmer. So, if you saw my short, we did 40 dozen ears of corn. We cut that off, blanch it, cut it off, freeze it. That's our favorite way. But I love that as a side. You know, I'm not as crazy about that in a burrito. I don't know to eat that way, you know, if we had to. But there's a lot of great things from Sam's Club. So consider that. Now, maybe if it's right down the road, we wouldn't get the Plus membership, but man, it's convenient. Okay. Second place that we get food is Flash Food. I know that this isn't all over the country. I know it's expanding. I think it started somewhere near us, Lancaster, Philadelphia, something like that. And I know that it's expanding. I've been like checking the map and it's kind of growing into like, it looks like Maryland and maybe Jersey and things like that. So it's at Giant primarily in our area. I know I saw some Food Lions when I was kind of like peeking around the map. So from there, everything is 50% off. Basically, the idea is that they're keeping things out of the trash. So like if there's, I don't know, pick something, some bread that's close to date. A lot of times we'll get, so things that we get from Flash Food a lot would be like cheeses that we're not going to make ourselves, like blue cheese, or they always have fancy kinds of like goat cheeses. Yes, I can make goat cheese. I have a goat, but they have these like really, and it's half price. So, you know, if I want to stash, because I only have one goat right now, stash all of her milk for soap, this is a great way for me to add some cheese to and we started waxing cheese so I can store some of, you know, the harder cheeses that way. So anyway, we get cheese from there. In the winter, which I would say for us is like November to March-ish, basically when I can't have a garden. They have produce boxes and they're like, I don't know, 12 by 10 by 8 maybe, cardboard boxes, and they fill them with produce. Now some stores fill them more than others, like to the top or whatever, but I've gotten boxes with like 6 bags of grapes for $5. Well, grapes are like almost $4 a pound. And I know I'm not the only one that gets up to the register and you have this bag of grapes and you're like, oh, this will be $4. And no, it's like 3 pounds of grapes and it's like $12. So anyway, we've gotten all kinds of good stuff. They have strawberries that are half price all the time. They have wild caught fish. So we do have a subscription to Wild Alaskan, which is like the best fish ever. We get salmon from them because we're trying to up our omega-3s, you know, post heart attack, all of that. And it's just good for you. And it's a great lean protein to have for dinner. So if like we want to have ice cream that night, salmon's a good choice for dinner. So they have like, we've gotten cod, swordfish, halibut, like they'll just have wild caught fish of random assortments. And it's not as good as the Wild Alaskan that's like shipped fresh right off the boat kind of thing. But it works and it gives us an opportunity to fit a little bit more fish in, not at full price. We've gotten kombucha off of there. So like obviously we can brew our own kombucha. We did prior to me having babies. I wasn't drinking kombucha while I was pregnant and we just haven't gotten back into it. I did get a SCOBY from a friend, so we're hoping to start that up again, but we found kombucha on there once, which was super exciting. Anyway, they have all kinds of different things on Flash Food that you can get at half price. The produce boxes are $5. We actually have a distribution center for Giant, which is only, I don't know, it's maybe 20 minutes away. So like if we're going to that one, I'm like very strategic about when we're going to go there. But they'll have cool stuff. Like I've gotten boxes, full banana boxes full of bananas for $5. So that's what sparked my creative ways to use bananas video. So if you haven't seen that one, check that out. Interesting ways to use up bananas if you also score a $5 box. So Sam's Club, Flash Food. Number 3, these are in no particular order, by the way. Number 3 is Amish stores. So we live in Lancaster County, probably the most like heavily Amish community, you know, there is. I'm not sure. I know that the Amish have really expanded since I was a kid, but Amish everywhere you look here. So I grew up maybe 35 minutes from here, like kind of, east of here, and way more Amish there than on this side of the county. But we had tons of Amish stores as a kid. I mean, that's pretty much like, we went to like one normal store, and then we went to Amish stores. And so we just don't have them over here. I mentioned Granny's, we do have that. It's okay. It's not my favorite. I have my other favorite stores, like I said, are near the chiropractor and closer to where I grew up. But at Amish stores, I get coconut oil for making soap, which we can also use for cooking, of course. Cause I can get like a 5-gallon bucket for like $100. Beans, flour, cane sugar, anything that you'd buy in like a 50-pound bag, you can pretty much get from the Amish stores, which is fantastic. And they have we have one store, it's like a health food store, but an Amish health food store. They have like, if you want organic things, whatever, they have all of that. So that's my favorite. Always the best prices. I mean, without question, the best prices on that kind of stuff. And they also just we have different kinds of Amish stores. So like we have health food Amish stores. We have just like general grocery store kind of Amish stores. We have ones that are just a lot of bulk dry goods. The ones that are just the normal Amish grocery stores, a lot of times you can get like discount stuff. So seconds, or I'm not really sure that they're called seconds. That's what produce is called, but, you know, maybe a dented box or a dented can or things like that. And you can get stuff really cheap that way too. So we use Amish stores mostly for bulk foods. We also, let's see, I would say the fourth one would probably be Amazon. So again, I get Liquid IV from there. I have that on Subscribe and Save. I have pea protein on Subscribe and Save. Something I want to start making myself, but I haven't gone down that path yet. Elderberries on Subscribe and Save. Laundry pads. We don't use pads here. Diva cups. Laundry pods. So laundry pods, don't come at me about this. Free and Clear laundry pods. I use Amazon's brand or all Free and Clear, whatever. We have tried all the homemade laundry detergents, the powder, the liquid, all of it. And I don't know if we're just extra smelly or like the turkey poop doesn't get washed out or whatever, but it just doesn't work for us. We were cloth diapering full time. When we had another baby in diapers, we went to disposables. Again, don't come at me. And then we recently switched back to like part-time cloth diapering. So we're cloth diapering at home, but not when we're out typically, because it can just be kind of a pain with 2 in diapers. If things got really bad, we would switch back to full-time, you know, like whatever. We're not too good for cloth diapers, and I love cloth diapers, but again, I need them to be clean. So I have not successfully found a homemade laundry detergent that works on clogged diapers. So we get those things from Subscribe and Save with Amazon. And obviously I get some other things from Amazon. Like there's this crazy Richard's peanut butter brand. You can buy a flat of it. Great to put in your long-term storage. Well, long-ish term storage. And it's pretty inexpensive for like good quality peanut butter that doesn't have hydrogenated oil and all that garbage in it. Extra sugar and all that crap. So Amazon is another one. So those are probably my top 5. Fill-ins, I would say, I get our salt from Redmond Salt, which I could also get some good quality salt from the Amish stores. I just happen to, I sort of get it from a few places, but Redmond's is a great place to get your salt online. And I have a code for that. I can put that in the notes if you want to check out Redmond's. And produce stands, of course. Obviously, we live in Amish country, we live in farm country. So produce stands, especially this time of year. So I have a farmer friend down the road. If you've watched any of my ways to preserve, fill in the blank, I usually mention that I get bulk amounts of things from our farmer friend down the road. So she is great. I just shoot her a text. I'm like, I need 2 bushels of this, 3 bushels of this, 3 bushels of this. And she texts me back and says, okay, I'll have it ready on this day. She texts me when it's ready. We go pick it up. It's phenomenal. And we support other produce stands too. She's just great. If I need like a bulk amount, I can order it ahead of time. She's reliable. It's good quality. It's very fair prices. And then, we'll fill in with we have another one down the road here that's friends of Zad's from when he was a kid. They always have like little seconds baskets underneath or whatever. They have donut peaches. If you've never had a donut peach, phenomenal. So anyway, produce stands, especially around here, are a great way to fill in. We have a place up here called the Corn Wagon, and I did not get my corn from there. I actually got it from my farmer friend because she loaded the pallet on the truck in the huge box, if you saw that short, and it was fantastic. But they do have, I do not love growing brassicas. It's not my favorite. So like the Corn Wagon has $1 or $1.50 enormous heads of cabbage that we'll get in the fall, and then that's what we make our sauerkraut from. I planted some cabbage this year, and it actually kind of just wound up being like a pest trap, which was fine. It kept them off of my beans and other things like that. But we have tons of produce stands around here. Almost all farmers are willing to sell you bushels of things if they have the extra. So that's how we kind of supplement our garden. And then the other, so Pineview. So Pineview's our local dairy. That's where we get our milk, our heavy cream, and our ice cream. They have the most phenomenal ice cream ever. I say that very boldly. Ever. It's the best ice cream. It's fantastic. We do have some other really good dairies around the county, but they are 8 minutes maybe down the road. The guineas are carrying on in the background, if you can hear that. So heavy cream we buy there to make our own butter, and then, use the buttermilk to cook or whatever. I freeze-dried buttermilk, and it went fantastically. So if you have a freeze dryer, try freeze-drying your buttermilk. Put that in your long-term storage. We also get milk from Pineview. We pass it once or twice a week. And so it's easy to just stop in and grab like a gallon or 2 of milk every week or every other week, depending on what we're doing. And then the last one, this is maybe unconventional. And I don't know if everybody else has these kinds of resources, but we have some friends, Josh and Sarah. They have this Facebook group. It's called J&S Basement Deals. And I know this sounds really odd that I buy like groceries from a Facebook group, but they have really great deals. So basically they get like pallets of like dented things or ripped packages, or not, the food packages aren't ripped, but like toys and things. I did almost all of our Christmas shopping from them. Now they are just in Lancaster. They do ship. You could check them out if maybe their prices are really great compared to what you can get in your area. So it's just like J&S Basement Deals on Facebook. And they're fantastic. They're friends of ours. I just love their whole business model. Like, they kill it. They just sell, like, it's not used. Like, it's almost always new stuff. Once in a while, they have some used stuff. But again, I've gotten liquid IV from them. We like to keep dark chocolate on hand, like super dark chocolate, 70, 80, 90% dark chocolate. And I've gotten that from them for an amazing price. And I love getting stuff from them because I'm supporting local business, we're supporting friends, and we're filling our pantry. So, I also get random things from them, like lighters. I'm trying to think what else we get, but those would be like our most popular things. So if you have anything like that in your area, or you want to support them, and maybe you're watching this and you're in Lancaster County, or close to it, or you want them to ship you some stuff because it's a really great deal, check them out. So those are probably my top places to buy food. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully maybe I gave you some like little tips. The other thing about Sam's Club too, and Amazon for that matter, and I'll probably do a video on multiple income streams here coming up, is I have a credit card with Sam's Club and a credit card with Amazon. Again, don't come at me about this. So we pay our credit cards off every month. It's not like we're sitting here drowning in debt or something. So my Sam's Club and Amazon credit cards, I probably earn $1,000 a year from each of those. So $2,000 a year that I earn from each of those just for using that card at that store. So Sam's Club gives you 5% back on your purchases there. Amazon gives you 5% back on your purchases there. Sam's Club gives you like 2 or 3% on gas. I forget. And Amazon has a, 1%, 2%, 3%, like restaurants and things like that. But we usually get like $1,000 per card back. So that's like $2,000 that I literally have to do nothing to earn except spend the money where I'm already spending the money. So something to consider too. That's like, from Sam's at least, $1,000 in free groceries. And from Amazon, could be $1,000 in free groceries or $1,000 in other crap that we think we need from Amazon. But look into those two things. If maybe you need a credit card, or maybe you don't really need a credit card, but you'd love to get some free things by using your credit card. So those are my kind of places that we love to shop. Hopefully you have access to some of those kinds of things in your area. Another video we'll probably do here at some point is just kind of talking about how we have amazing resources here in Lancaster County. Zad and I are always looking at bigger homesteads, and we're just not going to be able to afford one here in Lancaster. I mean, to get a homestead the size that we want in our area, we're easily looking at a couple $1 million. I mean, it's, especially in the last year, it's just gotten so astronomical. It's so hard to find a house here. And we just don't want any house. If we're going to move again, we want to move to like a serious amount of acreage and, have actual barns and like, all of that kind of stuff. So that's down the road. We're still sharing our oldest kid, so we're not going anywhere right now. But down the road, we will probably be looking at something else, and something I will heavily consider in whatever area we go to is, what resources do I have? Do I have things like dry goods stores, bulk stores, things like that? Obviously I can have my Sam's Club membership wherever we live, but is there one within an hour-ish that if I wanted to go browse the store, get some cold things, frozen things or whatever, do I have that option? Do I have something cool like J&S Basement Deals? Probably not. There's nobody else quite like them around. But, is Flash Food available in that area? Or is there some sort of, hey, don't let this food go in the trash thing that exists, program that exists? So those are all things we're going to have to really heavily consider before we would move out of the area. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you got some tips. If you have any questions about what I talked about, or maybe places that you shop that I missed that are really great places, let me know in the comments, and we'll see you next video.